Jackie Stewart called this place the Green Hill for a reason. I'm convinced if the concept of this circuit was proposed in today's world, people would think you're mad. It's around 13 miles in length and around 170 turns. That is depending on how one defines a corner. But this is the most demanding stretch of tarmac in the world. And today, Lotus is pushing to the very limit of human and automotive possibility by attempting a lap record in the Evija X, a purpose-built prototype that's designed for ultimate speed on the Nürburgring. I'm not actually sure I've ever been so nervous for somebody else driving a car. I don't want to overstate this and have it sound overly dramatic, but what Lotus are attempting today is approaching a man on the moon moment in the automotive world. There's one thing setting a category lap record, but an out and out, or even anything in the ballpark of what Lotus is trying to achieve today, less than 5 people have ever been around this circuit that fast, which is effectively at the very edge of automotive physics. And ultimately, to achieve that, there's a human inside it, and he's got to pilot it around with 4,500 kilograms of downforce in a car with over 2,000 horsepower. They've got the track for the day, but the Nürburgring is positioned amongst the Eiffel Mountains. On the other side of the circuit, it could be wet. On this side of the circuit, it could be dry. These guys have got to factor in so many variables to allow one lap to come together to break some sort of world record for this sort of car. And for whatever reason, they've invited us along to document it exclusively. So, no pressure. Now at this point, all of us are thinking of speed, right? But Lotus is thinking of money. I cannot stress to you just how expensive an undertaking it is to A, pioneer a new EV platform and try a Nürburgring lap record attempt. But the R&D, the hours, the development, the trials, tribulations, blood, sweat and tears that goes into developing an unknown platform like this and try to break some sort of world record is eye-wateringly expensive.
So we bring in a team that do with a laser beam that runs across the track, but then to double that and officiate it, we have to hire in a legal notary. So we fill in all the paperwork. I have to certify who I am, I have to certify who Dirk is, and we have to certify the car to make sure it is what we say it is. And then the notary backs up everything, and he has 2 old school stopwatches, but he is there just to make sure that whatever happens on the timing laser beacon is verified and validated so that nobody can mess with the data or mess with the signal that goes through it. So he backs all of that up. No, he's an external person. He's a third party. He's an independent body that we have to pay for and bring him in. He comes from Aerodynamics down in the town, and he's just a legal certified person that brings all the paperwork and all the equipment. So that there's going to be no messing with the timing, and it's real because all the work that goes into this, everybody wants every hundredth of a second out of it. So we've got to make sure that we've done what we say we're doing. Because the investment that we put into this is substantial, and we want to make sure that we're true and correct as well with what we've done.
So this is Evija X, and this is a modified version of our Evija road-going car. The underpinnings of the car are all road car carryover technology, so road car motors and road car gearboxes.
Because we're not really interested in steering fast, as long as the driver's happy with
somewhat
it.
extreme bodywork,
This is just about
getting
getting
more downforce, and we've added some competition slick tyres and carbon brakes. To increase performance on it, but we're here today to push the boundaries of what an EV road car can do. So we're really working the battery. It's a 2.2 megawatt battery, and we're delivering 1,500 kilowatts to the 4 motors round. And we're trying to put that all down. Everything is running at its maximum performance, and we're here to try and set a lap record.
What's it like having this much downforce to play with?
Yeah, well, not only that much downforce. I mean, we have the trick. Look at here. That's like F1 technology. We have DRS.
Yeah.
This is for the last bit of this track because there's a very long straight, and we are definitely gaining top speed with that, reducing drag. The whole car is super fast. I mean, the 2,000 horsepower, 4 times 500. They give you a punch. It's a different experience. You as a driver, you don't get really many laps by yourself on track, and then you're out there and you're like, holy moly, it's so fast. I mean, my reference is speed. Like I do actually see speed digits. That's my reference points, because I don't have the brake markers, because it's so different to what I'm doing normally on here. That really gives me a good indication. And as I'm doing a lot of stuff out of muscle memory, I have to chill them and make them, hey, not too late, start braking earlier, sail a bit more. But no, I'm really pleased. You know, we were playing with the multimatic damping, which we see there right now. Gives me a lot of comfort, a lot of feedback, a lot of trust to put all the power down and to get around here. And I mean, you see my smile. It's you're sitting in a rocket ball, and it's not ending. It's like, oh, that's checkered flag already.
Unbelievable.
This track is today a racetrack, but also a test track for the international automotive industry, and every single corner is an adventure. And the good ones on the Nordschleife, they drive during the night the same speed as during the day. It's not a normal track, it's not a racetrack, you know, for example, like a Formula 1 track or something which is flat and safe and an end. If you do a mistake, the space where you're landing with the car after an accident is the same like 1927.
6-minute 24-second lap time makes the Lotus Evija X officially the 3rd fastest car to ever lap the Nürburgring, and the only car in the top 3 to use the fundamental chassis and powertrain of its road-legal sibling. For context, there are only 2 cars to have ever lapped faster. Both were dedicated prototype racing cars with no concessions to road use like the Avia X. This performance is bonkers.
So the Nürburgring's a tough time at any time of year. You know, it's the ultimate goal for most automotive manufacturers to come here and set a record time. The challenge for us is it's the first time we're bringing an EV here. EVs are very hard to do lap time, so we have to bring a lot of infrastructure here, and we have to manage our thermal temperatures as we go around the lap. We're talking mostly around the battery. So we've got a 2.2 megawatt battery, which is generating heat and energy, and we've got to disperse that, over the course of the lap. Now, it's almost impossible to take 2.2 megawatts and have an equal amount of heat rejection, so we're trying to manage that thermal interaction over the course of the lap so that we try not to derate and try and complete a full lap at the maximum performance that we can deliver.
If you stress a car here and drive really fast, and we would say that 1 lap means over 20 kilometers is like 5,000 kilometers on the normal road if my grandma is driving. The bumps, the steering, the stress for the brakes, but also for the body is unbelievable. If you open a body after when a car has lift on the Nordschleife, you see which parts are probably critical, and you have to redo in engineering to get more stability, especially in the development of new cars, for example electric cars.
So in terms of benchmarks between an internal combustion engine GT3 racing car and then this, what is the biggest changes?
What is different is like, the parts getting the car ready, like, so you have to charge the battery. It's known in the EV world, right? So you need to have ability for charging the battery at the same time. Then you saw all the equipment. Then we are cooling down the battery, make the battery happy, nurse the battery. And at the end of the day, I want to use that as my potential for a whole lap. Like on the nice car, on the GT3 coming here, you bang like 100 laps.
Yes. Because
you just quick fill, and then go out. So that's the different kind of, the 2 worlds basically.
Yes.
But getting all the power out of the engines, out of the 4 engines, at the same time they're so powerful. We have to control the fronts more than the rear. We have with all the downforce, the way the weight distribution is, the rear tires are a little wider, right. So we can put a bit more power control on the rear. Yeah. We have to calm down the fronts, otherwise they would just spin.
It's got that much torque.
Spinning at 250 kph.
Seriously?
They are not stopped spinning, so they are still keep going.
Power then.
So that's the difference.
Yes.
And then like on the GT3 over here, you're basically using the downforce of a GT3, you have ABS, you have also high grippy tires,
yes,
which we also have, don't get me wrong, but you have less mass,
sure,
a lot less power,
yes,
so you produce a lap time different. You produce a lap time in braking late,
right,
maximizing every single bit in the corner, and you're just sitting duck on the straight.
Of course.
Over here we are like massive speeds, like really massive speeds. Like if you would compare it, it's almost like getting out of the chart when you're comparing like times like that.
Yeah.
We have increased the downforce around 3 times more than the road car, so we're a little over 4,000 kilos at VMAX condition on this car. We are speed limited on this car, and we're intentionally speed limited to manage the tyres and the downforce around here. That's 350k. So it's about over 3 times more than the road car, and the road car already makes a significant amount of downforce. You can see we've changed the wing on the back, so it's a fixed wing, but we have a 1 DRS element, so the top blade will rotate, all activated by the driver when he feels the car is stable and at high speed.
So you're still running the similar inboard and third damper?
Yeah, apart from we take the heave off, because we are much more stiffly sprung. Yeah. We've changed all the damping because we are stiffly sprung. I know these are road car tyres just for transport, but we run slicks. Yeah. We do have an F1 type tri-link bar on the back for anti-roll. But this is essentially the battery here. So you can see mid-mounted battery pack, exact same as the road car. Yes. The only changes we've made to the battery are just to remove some of the components that we're not using for charging. So we don't charge at 230 volts, and we don't charge at 400 volts. We only charge at 800 volts. So it saves a little bit of weight, but otherwise the battery pack is a completely standard battery pack. Right. Inside the chassis is the road car motor supplied by Helix and Milton Keynes, fantastic company, and the gearboxes are made by X-Track. So very, very good technical partners on this.
It's a beautiful thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, I mean, from your side, obviously incredibly technical. From our side, it actually looks a fairly simple thing. It's so clean and pure.
It is, yeah, and we've tried to do that because we know that we wanted to make a very light competitive car. We've got to look at and apply the Chapman ethos. So simplify, everything is lightweight. More than one thing does multiple actions. So the whole chassis is about 3.3 meters, and it's done in a single shot. So we don't have front and rear subframes, one piece. We have front and rear crash cans on the road car, not in this car. But it gives us an inherently stiff, inherently light structure, with really high torsion stiffness, really high bending stiffness. So we know we can keep the occupant safe at all times.
Sure.
But that means we can hang off everything. Everything. Yeah. So
Wow.
there's no other brackets, there's no other subframes. Everything's bolted direct to the chassis. And the benefit for that is, and I'm sure Gavin will mention, is the driver feels everything. Everything comes through the chassis, he can feel it, and he can respond to it. So it's a very direct engagement with the driver.
One of the things I was really taken with on the Avia road car was having hydraulic steering rack.
Yes.
I mean, just fantastic. And you don't realise how much sort of feedback you're missing on more contemporary e-pass systems. It felt fantastic.
Yeah, so different on this. So we have e-pass on this.
Okay, interesting.
It's a column-mounted e-pass, but I think racing feel is different. Certainly from road cars, we've not yet, I guess, found from a dynamics point of view an equivalent e-pass system that matches hydraulics. So we've got it on the road car. Emira's got it, and I think we still probably get the best steering feel because of the hydraulic rack.
Yeah.
But this is different because we're not really interested in steering feel as long as the driver's happy with it.
Sure.
So this is just about giving a little bit of assist at high speed because we generate
I was about
so much downforce.
Do you need that assist because on the full load
it's hard work.
Yeah.
In terms of DRS, you can see here. So this rear plane is the one that activates this one, and it'll rotate up. So similar in concept to the road car, that we have DRS, but the road car we deploy it vertically and then we change the angle of attack. This is obviously fixed apart from DRS, and we tend to deploy the DRS only in the high speed areas where the driver is happy and comfortable with it.
That's a substantial railway.
It is, It's a bit different,
So I'm assuming you modelled this in CAD first?
Built a full CFD model.
Right.
We validated that against a road car rolling road wind tunnels. So we're pretty happy. We meet all the numbers. All the car is instrumented, so we've got load cells, strain gauges, all damper pots. So we know that how much downforce we're making at any one point in time, and we can correlate that back to the aero maps.
The Nürburgring is called the Green Hell by the way, by Sir Jackie Stewart. I think the Green Hell is describing every lap is different to the other one. From lap to lap, you have changing weather conditions. The grip is changing because in some areas you have a lot of trees, so you arrive in one lap and it's completely dry. The next lap you have something in the braking area, which is absolutely changing your grip. So you have to be always awake. It's not forgiving. Even on the Döttinger Höhe, which is a straight of 2 kilometers where you hammer with a race car between 280 or Dirk is doing, I think, 350 or 360, which is unbelievable. Since we are here in a volcano area, the tarmac is changing from year to year. And even if they repair it, it's always a little bit bumpy. And the bumps are changing from year to year. You are on the straight and you think, okay, I can relax, but the car is doing like this.
What about braking points? I mean, obviously with that much aero, but are you approaching the corner faster?
A lot faster.
So does that mean you're braking earlier, or with you having so much downforce you can still brake fairly late?
A lot earlier, I mean, there's a point, I did hit 350 kph just approaching, which is 100 kph faster than the GT3. So this is like such a big difference. It's wild. And so I have to live with my feel. So my body language tells me you have to brake now.
Okay.
Because you don't get so many laps. Yes. Like basically, you're tuning the car, and you have a few laps and then you have to just puzzle it together.
Sure. And what's it like having, obviously, it's got its own RPM, as it were, but obviously from an internal combustion engine, there's quite a lot of audible connection with a car based on if it's on cam and state of engine. In this, you've adapted it to a totally different feel.
Yeah, people were laughing because I'm still using earbuds. You know, it's like so much noise at that speed. It's just aero noise. It's even the engines. I can, the drain of the batteries producing a noise, and everything is producing a noise. And yeah, just driving it, it is still kind of noisy in there. So that's why I'm wearing ear protection. But yes, the biggest thing is just getting used to the high speed.
What sort of size team has been involved in this?
Probably around 25 people.
It's quite a
I mean, the
team,
core
actually.
team is all here.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's quite a small team.
That's
you know,
amazing.
very expert team, very dedicated team.
Yes.
You know, we obviously we've engaged some technical partners on it. So we've got Multimatic assisting with their know-how and their running of the car and the knowledge of running fast cars. You know, we've got Evija X on the EDUs, and we've got X-Track on the gearboxes, and a lot of other people Cosworth helping with the software control. So in terms of cooling, one of the things for doing a fast lap on an EV car is preconditioning. So you saw earlier we had some external AC chillers and some dry ice at minus 78 degrees. And we're trying to blow cold air across the battery radiator while running all the water pumps so we can cool the core temperature of the pack down. The idea is to start the pack around 15 degrees. Okay, that's a bit ambient today, but on a hot day, we want to be well below ambient when we start the lap. So that preconditioning helps. It means that we can deploy through the whole lap and not get to any kind of thermal derate at the end of the lap at very high speed. The only really change in cooling system on the front is we double stack the radiators. So we have a dedicated cooling circuit for the front EDU, and you can just see inside. And then the main battery, it's all the same location, apart from we flow about 40% more air through that because the front splits and the front bumper are modified slightly to increase the airflow over the road car because our duty cycle is so much higher than the road car.
Wow.
We maintain the front heave damper. It's a very, very long heave damper, and that's just controlling the heave on the front.
It's so beautifully purposeful, isn't it?
Yeah.
When you see it, it's also like deceptively simple because it looks fairly simple, but when you drill down into it, it's unbelievable.